worst case scenario, back pocket plays
Right.
that Jess and OEA Legal and we have discussed, we're not there yet.
Gotcha. I mean, right, that's the nuclear option at the end.
Yes, I mean, yes, we have a couple options when it comes to kind of OSHA. We don't fall under OSHA, but there's some things that, you know, we could potentially do.
Was there any discussion about personal protective equipment at all?
Trina.
Well, I feel like I just have to ask. I mean.
Oh no, absolutely, absolutely. It's I forget.
Common sense, Trina. Quit using
Yeah,
common
I know. Jesus, Murphy.
Trina, the
Come
kind
on.
of questions you're asking me are just, they're too logical. So Melody made it very clear that every single teacher should be provided an N95 mask because this is the best form of protection against this virus. Their answer to that is we have very special filters installed, and that was a quote, very special filters that they've installed in the buildings, which we all know is horseshit. I mean, what they did is went to Lowe's and bought like the name brand filter and maybe not the cheapy ones.
What about the fact that the air conditioning doesn't even work in half the rooms in our building?
Yeah, we have rooms without windows. I mean,
Yeah.
we don't even need to go into the absurdity of what they were saying. Our district's in a place where they didn't take the initiative. N95 masks are now very difficult for even hospitals to procure. They didn't even. I didn't get a solid answer if we said, can we even get them flimsy piece of shit masks like provided?
Didn't they get us masks for Teacher Appreciation Week?
Good
Yeah,
question,
we
Greg. They said they
we were gonna get you a
did. They
mask.
said they did, and they said they were in our mailbox, but apparently they're not. So, you know,
What are the remote learning specialist team? What are they working on?
those teams that like met the other day.
The remote learning specialists that Rob hired.
I don't know what they do. I don't know what anyone's doing.
And how do we know?
Dawn, I'd have to ask specifically, like what are they working on? Are they? Is that a teaching position or was that a?
It was a supplemental that they put out. I don't
Yeah.
know.
Okay. Yeah. I remember.
Was it technology? Can you hear me now?
Remote
Yep.
learning specialist.
Technology? I think Emma Walker is on that committee, and she said that there is, at least as far as like 2 weeks ago, there was still no job description.
I don't think anything's happened. Dawn,
Yeah.
to be honest, I think
Okay.
it's just.
Because I'm feeling like everything I do should be online because there is no guarantee that anybody will even be in the classroom consecutive days because every time a kid is out sick, it's a potential that we're out again. And then I asked
You baby, Greg.
if we were getting more computers in 6th grade because I thought then each of the kids should be doing their work on computers when we're in the classroom in person. But
Dawn, you're thinking too much. That's gonna hurt their head. I
Yeah.
don't think. You know, these specific
paperwork just seems pointless right now.
A lot of this seems very futile. Like the things that they're, you know, like it's frustrating because you know you have those meetings. We had another one with like teachers the other day, and teachers are asking questions like, "Can I bring my lamps into the building?" Like, are you fucking kidding me? Like, please stop. Like, you know.
Is that a new
And if
baby
you-
down there?
If you didn't know, we've already had a positive case at the high school.
Okay.
Only if you teach at the high school, you know that because they did not inform the rest of the district. That's one. And other people were being tested. Have they let us know? Nope. We don't know. So I'm going to an NEA meeting about some legal issues at 3:00 today. So I should have some better insight I asked the OEA lawyers, like, hey, what do they have to, like, can you give me specifics on what they have to report? And they say they have to report it. But I don't know what that means in terms of to whom.
To whom?
Or we still need some clarification on that. And I think that the Claremont County plan is just to send out like a whooping cough letter. But I hope they're prepared to send out a lot of letters. I just think long term, I'm going to really strongly make the case that this year, if we just go back and try things, regardless of what your opinion on that, I think it's going to be devastating for the career and specifically for our district. I think even people that said they were comfortable going back, I don't know if they'll feel comfortable when we get back there. On the survey, there was probably 30% down the line of people did not know. They weren't sure either way about a lot of things. And those unsures are going to turn into very concerned, I think, rather than like comfortable. When was the last time people were in a room with 40 other people, 50 other people? I think there's going to be a lot of anxiety, some serious problems in the first week that we're not anticipating with those people that say, like, I'm okay going back. You might be okay going back if you think the safety measures are in place. But when those kids flood in, everybody knows what's going to happen. I mean, let's not kid ourselves. You think those kids are going to fall in line right away and the admin's going to be there to support us? They're going to be in their offices. They're going to be hiding, and we're going to be left to clean it up. And it's going to be teacher versus teacher, and that's a problem. That's a problem. We can't have that. So that's my big concern. And John needs to know, as incoming superintendent, this will either ruin or propel his career. It's pretty simple. You will lose teachers for the remainder of your career if you do this, if you don't protect us. Doesn't matter what you do.
Well, and then I'm just going to say this, like, what's your legal recourse if, I'm not signing shit to say that I'm going back and I'm not going to hold somebody accountable if I get sick.
Mm-hmm.
Not doing it.
They haven't presented any of that stuff yet, but.
So, like some places you go that are open now, they'll ask you to answer yes or no to questions, and they'll just say, we're not responsible. Well, hell to the no.
As an MA perspective, our answer to that is obviously no. We're not. That's a hard no. But they haven't presented any of that stuff. The nonchalance about this entire topic, regardless of what your personal opinion is, safety is not a debate here. There's 4 things they need to do for us. They need to provide proper filtration of air, and that's like 4th on the list. They need to provide proper PPE, which would be masks. They need to ensure 6 feet of social distancing, and they need to ensure students wear masks as well. Those are 4 things they cannot do. Those are the 4 minimum things that they need to do. So if we can't even do one of the minimum, I don't get why we're talking. I don't. And I'm not saying and I hear admin, I got real pissed the other day because one of the principals was like, well, you guys want to come back to work or not? I'm like, fuck you, I'm going to be working. I just want to be safe. It's not about not coming back to work. It's about
how to do it
safely and figuring out how to do this.
Are they not aware of what's going on? Things are worsening, and we're still in
Tammy, the only people that ever state facts or science or data when I talk to our teachers, if I ask an administrator, they not one of them has ever given me a fact or a reason. They just say, oh, this is hard, or we don't know, or we're looking into it, or we have a committee. I've never heard them say a scientific fact once.
because they don't have to sit with the kids.
I don't know how much every teacher around is trying to learn as much as possible to keep themselves safe, and I just don't know if that's happening.
Well, just speaking in the meetings that we've had, the think tanks, I mean, nothing gets accomplished in those.
No,
because
utterly
we're just going around and around and around in circles, and bringing up scenarios. What if this happens? I mean, has been pointless, and it's we've done it for 8 hours, I think at this point, 7 or 8 hours, and every time I leave, and I'm like, well, that was
More
did nothing.
confused.
I mean, this is the level they're thinking at. One of the questions for the think tank was, how do we make students feel comfortable if they refuse to wear a mask? Are you fucking kidding me? That's not a question we should even entertain. How do we make them feel part of the community?
Yeah, make them feel comfortable by sending them home.
Well, I guess I'm out of turn then, because I've talked to every parent this summer, and I've said, if your kid doesn't wear a mask in my room, they're not coming in there.
I think that should be our.
I mean,
Absolutely.
I know I have a small group of kids, but I mean that's just how I feel. I'm not good at fighting it.
Oh no,
Well,
we've got administrators that are Paul got up there during the last last meeting, the think tank, it was like, well, you guys, when you're in the classroom, there's a lot of magic happening. There's not going to be fucking magic this year. Are you kidding me? If people are just constantly stressed and afraid, magic, it's not happening. You know, like you can't have a magical classroom when there's a big line down the center that says, do not cross, don't come by me. Like, I'm not going to, I don't know. This is the conversations we have, and it's pretty frustrating.
Well, I mean, in my opinion, the safest thing is everything just needs to be remote. I mean, for every grade level.
Talking too much sense, Brian. Too logical.
I mean, if not, if we're in the building, it's only a matter of time before we all get it.
Mm-hmm.
It's only a matter of time for every kid in the district gets it. And
Or we're just quarantined
Well,
every
but
2
don't
weeks.
I don't want to be going to funerals for staff and kids. I mean, I know that's extreme.
It's not extreme. That's not extreme.
Right.
That's not extreme. It will happen.
I mean, if you say the mortality rate is 0.1% or whatever, the lowest number it could possibly
That's
be.
still somebody.
That's right. That's like 5 people at least.
Like
Sorry.
No, it's fine. Like, we need to talk about this. Like, we need to accept it.
Exactly.
Teachers in New York City schools, 75 teachers died. I mean, staff members, teachers, like, you need to talk about this. It's not a possibility. It's a likelihood at this point. And if you, I think as you as a district are willing to contend with that, you're going to have, I mean, I don't know. I don't know how you can justify that.
Right. And if I'm in a classroom with 27 kids and we're all wearing masks, it doesn't matter, because at some point, if I'm there 5 days a week for the next 6 months, it's still gonna, I mean, the mask is not, totally mitigating everything. Just statistically speaking, if I'm in a room with 27 kids and I have 127 kids during the day, I'm getting it. And then I'm gonna bring it home and my kids are gonna get it. And then I'm gonna lose my shit.
Yeah. So that meeting I'm going to this afternoon is about the legal issues. I want to kind of flesh some of that out, like how open is the district to being sued for these situations? I mean, obviously they need to be prepared for this stuff because these are just safe workplace requirements. We're not asking for anything other than that. And like, if we think about this long term, yeah, this could be a really tough year of online learning, but just, we've got a few weeks left of summer. We could dive in, make it the best it could be, do the best we can.
Absolutely.
We know everybody's safe. And then when we come back, it will be an awesome year. I mean, everybody will want to be there. Teachers, students, administrators. Like, we could really do things the right way. But I don't think half of us, at least a fourth of us, are not going to make it through the year and want to come back to this profession. I think it's going to have long-term impacts like that. It's going to be really hard. And I don't know if you can recover from that. And another thing the district's been talking about, like, we are all very concerned about sub-coverage, obviously. And the district's position is that they've had so many applications, there won't be a problem. They are loony. I don't care how many people apply to be subs. They're not going to be coming in the building. There won't be subs. And teachers, we're not covering classes. Like, that's not worth $20. We're not doing it. So that's an admin problem. You deal with that.
Are there any districts talking about teachers that you've heard what maybe they just say, like,
The superintendent of Nashville schools, he's a boss. He came out and said, I will not do anything to endanger my students or teachers. Deal with it. So I like that guy, but
yeah,
that's
because I didn't know if you could, like, do that overall strike like somebody asked.
we during an OEA meeting that we went to with Scott Demaro, who's the president of OEA, people talked about, like, are we at a point where we should consider a statewide strike? And we're not there yet, apparently, according to Scott, that most of the membership doesn't line up with that yet. And that might be true. So he said his position was the membership, not enough of the membership in Ohio as a whole necessarily agrees with that. And we saw some of that was reflected in our survey. Like we said, K-6 teachers are more likely to want to go back. But then I've heard, like, the minute that survey went out, there's that 25, 30%, 40% of teachers in the K-6 buildings that are worried. They're very worried. And I can understand that as well. So it's a tough, like, when we presented that plan, it wasn't like, this is going to be it, we have to do it. It's just we wanted to present something that was a talking point, a starting point, and it reflected what we saw in the results. We know that not everybody wants to go back K-6, and we know not everybody wants to be remote 7 to 12.
Right.
But, you know, it's just, and I do analyze the data on those. So like, a lot of administrators have spent time on those documents. So maybe that's reassuring. So they know how we feel about things.
Well, for me personally, I mean, I want to be in the classroom,
Sure.
but I don't want to be in it right now with a pandemic going on. So, you know, I've probably said, yes, I would prefer to be in my classroom, but given the current situation, I don't want to come anywhere near that classroom right now.
If
So
I
don't know
can't
if
be in
that's how
a
people would think one day.
plexiglass box.
Things have worsened since we filled out that survey.
That's
Yeah.
good too. yeah.
Exactly.
Have changed.
And I'm not opposed to doing that, sending it out again. We had like 95% participation within like 48 hours. That never happens on any.
I thought that was
You can hand out free money to people to come to the. You know, we hand out free drinks. Nobody comes.
Right.
Like there's, like we've never had that kind of response. So people obviously are concerned. The best advice I can really give everybody is like, try to enjoy the last few weeks with your families, and just like know that like we're working hard on it, but you can't just like, I'm even struggling. I can't just be stressed about this all day, every day until we get there. I think there's a lot that can happen outside of our control that's going to be bigger than just our district. That's going to change some things in the next few weeks. And hopefully that shifts towards us. And it has to. I mean, like if it gets worse, I feel that helps our case. And if it gets better, I guess we'll be safer. So if we think about it like that, you know, you got to try to, it's not healthy for everybody to just be constantly worried about this. And then we get, like, people are going to snap.
My anxiety is through the roof.
But no, I'm with you. And I'm not typically an anxious person. That is not something that I typically deal with. But I want people to, like, just try to, like, go somewhere where there's get off the grid. I mean, just do it for a week. But the problem is when you come back, it's like it's traumatic, like just watching the news. I went to my in-laws lake for a week. It's remote, you know, you can't see. There's no TV or anything, and everything's great. You forget about everything, and then I came back. I was like, wow, I need to ease into this. Like, I came back, and it was not an easy transition. So that's my advice. And so the big things to take away is we're starting the COVID committee. Please help out with that. You should expect an email asking for volunteers. And then I wanted to get some people's opinion on a survey that we can do. We got to be real careful because we don't want to ask people like, hey, what's your medical conditions? Like, we don't want that. But I think we need to survey people and say, like, please provide, like, we need to get their, like, retain their email. Like, we need to know who it is. It can't be anonymous. And give them some check boxes like, I have medical concerns.
An underlying condition.
What? Go ahead.
An underlying condition, or
Yeah,
that my doctor has
Yeah.
said something.
Or yeah, my doctor said that it's not safe for me to return. You know, just we need to have some things people can check so that we can call them, get follow up, and then start dealing with these things. So, does everybody feel like that's the best way to do it? Like, what's your thoughts on the form?
Or you could send out a general email and say, contact your rep or whoever if you have an underlying condition and you're concerned about. So you wouldn't.
Do we think people are less likely to do that? I want to get.
I think a checkbox is a little better.
Okay.
I just think because I don't want people
boxes can be, I don't have any underlying medical
Yeah,
concerns.
we can
One
do
of
it.
the boxes
We can
could
do
be,
it.
I have a family member who does.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like I have someone. I don't want to open it up where we get emails with very personal,
Right.
potential HIPAA stuff. Like like we want to have some control.
And you can
we want
say
people
that
to
in
feel
the
like-
survey.
Go ahead, Donna.
That's something that maybe Patty could send out. I mean, I know she.
I don't know if she believes in this, so
What? That's our school nurse, by the way. Sorry, I was asking about.
No, I'm being dead serious. Like, she had a conversation that masks are stupid, and I stopped listening. So,
I'm nervous about the parents because, like, I know all the parents in my neighborhood because I live in, like, Seitel area. I mean, they want their kids back.
yeah.
Like, they're going to be mad if we don't go back.
Yeah.
That's, I'm
there's
concerned.
There's a lot of parents that feel that way. Maybe the majority, I don't know.
I mean, the survey was done so long ago that we don't really know how the parents feel at this point.
Yeah, I would agree. I don't think that survey is valid anymore.
But like, I know my neighbors and stuff, like their kids are all outside, like they're doing all kinds of stuff, having parties. I mean, they're ready for their kids to go back. They're going to be pissed if they don't. So I feel like the teachers and the parents are on a different.
Because we're the caretakers.
I know.
Yeah. I guess it's
So you'll let us know on Monday how things are, or what, Joe? After your meeting on Monday?
Well, I'm gonna probably need a couple solid hours of drinking to just like to feel normal again, and then
Well, first,
Yeah,
I got to vote on our contract. So we're,
we gotta ratify the contract. That's Monday. That's a big thing Monday.
so look for that. We're using the same website as before. Bridget will send out the link and all that stuff. Hopefully, it goes as well as it did last time. And then by that point, Joe will know. I'm sure it'll pass, but you never know, I guess.
Yeah, we'll do that.
Yeah.
And then I think maybe expect Tuesday. I think Shane, Bridget, myself will have to put together something. And we're in a tough spot again. Like, I mean, what's people's thoughts? Like, do we want to get people fired up before the meeting? Or do we want to get people fired up after? You know what I mean?
I think we should lay low till they pass it, till they.
That's a good idea.
But I do think we could have an exec meeting potentially Tuesday and kind of maybe cover some of the things that we talked about.
I mean, I think we need to have our people watch the board meeting, if nothing else. I mean,
Yes,
you know,
I would agree. And I don't, and like,
we might not have to fire them up after they watch it. They might.
that's what I'm saying. Like, but my question is, like, do you think we should? I just don't know if I want to light the fuse too soon.
I mean, I think we. I would send out something Wednesday or Thursday saying, "Please watch the board meeting tonight."
Absolutely.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Okay. Yeah. Gotcha.
Well, yeah, I think the action team will be probably on that. I would assume. They're still working on stuff. I think. I don't know. I'm not on the action team. What else is there? Everybody just individual things like you can spew some. You can talk it out here if you got to talk it out. I mean, there's a lot going on.
Just my other thing, I know this is just, I don't know, it's fuel, it just drives me crazy. Just because I have kids this age, colleges are all like, yeah, we're coming back. No, they're not. They are literally, I mean, I have 2 college age kids. What they're doing is they're saying we're coming back, but they're actually like changing the dorms. So most kids can't live on campus. And then their classes, when they go sign up, every week they check, they're virtual. And then they're virtual. And then they're virtual. Like literally, I have 3 kids in our family in college, and one of them has an in-person class right now, and it's because it's gross anatomy.
Yeah.
Like,
Well,